Okay, well, it says live, so we're going live. We had a little bit of a problem here. I don't know what happened, but it stopped again. But we're good to go now. It says
I hope
live
we're
here.
good to go because I still don't see us on Rumble.
Well, that same thing happened last week. It took a couple minutes. I've got it going though, and it says on here.
Okay, well, let's hope we are so we don't have to repeat ourselves. We have a guest this morning, but Trixie, you're going to take it away for us this morning, aren't you?
Well, are you going to do your prayer?
We already did that.
Yeah, but I don't think it went through.
Oh, okay. Okay, you guys, if you're there, let's do this again. We're going to do the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen.
Amen. And it's showing up on Rumble, so we're here.
Okay, good. I
But I
don't
don't
have
think
it on my Rumble.
I
But I
don't
do
think
have my dog bugging me.
it shows that we're on and that it's running through on Rumble. So,
Okay.
but
Little tech difficulty this morning, y'all.
yeah, it was. It wasn't. It was Rumble again. It wasn't me. It was a software error. It comes up on the side, and it just says Rumble error, and then I have to go back and stream in again.
Okay, because I'm not getting it at all. So I
I've
can't see
got it. I'm
I
showing it.
cannot see the chat, so I won't be able to chit chat
I
until
can
that
see the
happens.
chat. Ant's in the chat right now. But I have to send another link to your guest. So can you have anything you can say for a minute so I can do that?
Sure.
Okay, because
Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna
do
do
not have chat, you guys, so I can't, answer anything you have to say. We had a little technical difficulty this morning. Some storms here last night, so I'm glad my power's back on and everything. My dog is bugging me. She's still a little antsy from the storm. We have a really great guest this morning, Michael Brown. And Michael is actually my cousin. He also directed and produced and wrote the movie The Calling. It's a Christian based movie. Let's see, he was at the Save America rally and he interviewed Mike Lindell and several other people there. Wonderful, wonderful, dear. Uh, so he's going to be with us this morning. So we're just trying to get that all taken care of.
I'm just letting him know to use the last link I sent him real quick here so that he makes it onto the right one. So it just takes me a second.
And I still don't have the chat, so I'm just going to wing
I've
it.
got
I was going to sing and dance, but then that only works if you guys can't see or hear me. So.
Can you tell him to use the last link I sent him while I talk then?
Yep, you go ahead and talk and I will message him.
Okay, yeah, because he's got 3 of them. Tell him to use the very last one.
Okay, gotcha.
I just sent it to him. All right, sorry about that, you guys, this morning. But last week how we were talking about vaccines and all that other kind of stuff. And I want to make sure I get this in here real quick so that we have time for Deb's guest. But a lot of people were asking about the vaccines for the monkeypox. And, they made that World Health emergency about that. But what they're saying is there's a real super slim chance that it would ever make it out of Africa. And that's basically where it's at. So it really is nothing to worry about at all. But the COVID-19 vaccine should be something that you should be worried about if you did get it, or if you hadn't got it and you got a little, you picked up something from shedding from somebody. They're finding out now that women are the ones that are getting the most adverse reactions from these vaccines. And there's probably a reason behind it. And what's part of it in the vaccine, how they put aluminum and stuff, that aluminum carries a charge to it. And when it's in your bloodstream, you'll end up getting the clumps just because of that. That charge will coagulate liquid and make those clumps. But what they're finding out with this is that when that gets into your gut, it's permeating through your gut and getting into your bloodstream and everything. And that's why so many people are having autoimmune disease from this. The way that protein targets, it's changing your cell. And so it's doing a total immune suppression on a lot of people. And the women are having the most reactions. Even in regular autoimmune disease, women have the most reactions to begin with. And a lot of that has to do with if you're an Rh positive or an Rh negative person. Now, I know personally, because I'm Rh negative, if the father of your children isn't negative, you can your own body will destroy that baby. And what they do is they give you a Rogam shot, and it's supposed to stimulate your immune system so that you won't destroy the baby or the fetus while you're gestating. And I did have that shot not the first time, my second two I did. My first I didn't. But that Rogam shot, they're finding out, could be a cause of a lot of problems for women with autoimmune disease. And now you have this COVID shot on top of it. My guess would be that would be why you would see so many more females having these adverse reactions. But some of the ones that they're getting are really bad. They're getting GI bleeding and perforated bowels, and some people are actually dying from that. But with the COVID-19, you know how we were talking about it was being a real big money maker. I found this out. Anthem Blue Cross, when they were doing those COVID-19 shots, if they would get 6,000 patients vaccinated, the drug companies would have paid for 6,000 patients $1.5 million to that doctor at the end of the year for bonuses for all of those. And that goes right down the line. So you're figuring the doctors are getting bonuses, the government's giving the money to the drug companies for all this stuff. It was nothing but a total money maker for a lot of people. And another interesting thing they're finding out about the COVID-19 stuff is that if you were a smoker, you actually did better than people that didn't smoke, because nicotine had a natural function where it would stop that spike protein and COVID-19, from the SARS, because it's the jab and the virus were basically the same thing. They stimulate your immune system. But they were finding out the nicotine was taking care of the SARS virus and people weren't getting as really sick. And I thought that one was really interesting. But when we're talking about gut health, when we were talking about fasting, they've proven that if you fast like that, and there's different types you can do, like where you eat for 8 hours a day and fast for the other 16, or you eat for 16, fast for 8. However you do it, the way I do it is I do it for a couple days at a time. It changes. So your body will start burning your fat. You burn the sugar first, and then after that sugar burns off, you'll go after the fat. Well, if you are trying to diet, if you can fast, you will trick your body and you'll actually lose weight faster by doing it that way if you maintain a regular fast. But GI disorders from that COVID-19 jab, the after effects, there's a lot of adverse reactions. And because that COVID sits in your stomach and stuff, they said if you can fast, you can get a lot. If you're sick with something like that, you can get a lot of that flushed out by fasting, because it doesn't have anything to attach itself to. But they're finding that it does acute diverticulitis with a booster dose. They have colon microperforation. So when that goes into your bowels, that goes into your whole bloodstream. So that's why you're getting, a whole a whole body reaction. It won't be just in your gut. You could get skin rashes and everything once that comes out from your bowels. But the diverticulitis, there's a lot of people that have gotten hospitalized for that, and that is pretty painful. But that the mRNA in those jabs has the RNA for your cell instructions, and those things bind in your gut. So there's another reason why fasting really would be good for you if you can do it. You can't go like 7 days without eating, because then you defeat the purpose. You trick your body into that you're starving, and then your metabolism changes back to where you're conserving calories. So the best thing you could try to do would be like to do maybe 2 days on a liquid diet and then go back to your normal diet. But the worst thing you can do is eat processed food, and I'm sure a lot of you know that. But all the abstracts that I've been reading and everything, that's the one thing that they've been stressing, and they never did that during COVID. But if you go into the scientific paperwork, that's what they're saying, that if you do your vitamin C, get a lot of sunlight, because that's better for you, you'll absorb it a lot more through the sun. But uh, unprocessed food is, so like if you were to go into one of the grocery stores, stay on the outer aisles. Anything that runs on the outside of the grocery store would be what your whole food, healthy food is. And then everything down the aisles is all the processed. And I'm sure everybody knows that. We're all older and everything, but I'm just saying that, in case there's some people that don't know. But I've cured myself, well, not cured myself, but I'm asymptomatic, and I have been for a while, except for very, very mild episodes. And everything I have done has gone from I've gone off biologics, steroids, all that stuff, and went to whole foods, fasting. I do drink pop though, so that's a bad thing. And I do eat a lot of chocolate. But if you look at it in the sense of chocolate would almost be considered a whole food, it's not really that processed. But I don't eat a lot of junk. And when I do, I can really tell the difference. I actually get a stomach ache sometimes if I eat too much beef, just because you really shouldn't. If the inflammation from the COVID too will cause a lot of digestive problems. And I didn't realize how much people were having problems with this until I started going through the abstracts, and it's unbelievable. But if you stop and think about it, it would make a lot of sense, because they were saying before with autoimmune disease, they were linking it to a leaky gut too. And this would be the same thing. So COVID, from what I can see, it's working the same way. So your diet plays a big, big role in how sick you get. And I think I really just wanted to emphasize on that, how much it does, because that leaky gut thing with the COVID and then with autoimmune disease proved it to me. And I proved it to myself anyways, too, just from what I've done on my own. But I just thought that was really interesting. And it was something with all the different pandemics they might try, pulling out and letting everybody know. I just thought that was, good information to have. But I was looking to see if anybody has any questions or anything on that. There's not a whole lot, you can say more than that. But
Well, we've already pretty much been through it. The ones that are sleeping, the ones that aren't paying attention, the ones that are still wearing the mask from the last time, those are the people that are going to be running around wearing masks, getting another vaccine, and falling back into the line with the rest of the sheep.
that's what I'm afraid of, and that's why I know this gets boring, but I'm trying to stress it as much as I can to not fall for the fear porn. If you're a healthy person and you take care of yourself, you really don't have anything to worry about. I
It's
can't
just
even
like with
stress
the
it.
flu.
Yeah, and with the flu, they push those flu shots all the time, and really you do worse with the flu shot because they're guessing what strain is going to be that year. They don't know, so most of the time it's not effective anyways.
Several flus.
Yeah, there's a lot of different flus, but most of them are all the same. It's just a little
Well,
thing.
even before COVID, and I had a friend pass away from the flu several years ago, but it was all before COVID. He was overweight, he was diabetic, and he was in his, late 60s. So it's the same category of people: diabetic, overweight, elderly. It's basically the same thing. I don't know how they got away with making so many people believe the hype.
I think it was naivety in some people. It was a lack of information. And then when they started giving out information, it was all wrong and it was conflicting. And that right there, I mean, I even knew at the very beginning when they were saying to wear a mask, it's like, why? A mask doesn't work. Everybody knew a mask doesn't work,
Right. Yeah.
But
Well, they had Fauci getting on there telling everybody one time it does, the other time it doesn't. So
yeah. Yeah, well, and look at him. He did that. What did he say? So that medical personnel would be able to get equipment first. I mean, when you
Yeah.
start doing that stuff, nobody's going to believe a thing that you say. No way. You know,
Well, there was a
they're
lot
just,
of, they brought in the big ships, and those were going to be hospital ships, and when they didn't need them, well, they needed another way to scare everybody because they couldn't fill the ships. They couldn't even put anybody on them. So then they had to put the numbers on the top of the TV every single day, so you could
yeah,
see the countdown, how many people are getting it.
that, yeah. And it was all that fear porn. And I'm afraid they're going to try that again, just because it worked the first time. But so many people are onto it, but there's going to be some that are going to fall for it.
Oh, of course. Well, there's still, like I said, there's still people here that wear masks. It's
Yeah.
funny because my grandson in basketball, and we'd have to go into, in Wisconsin here, the bigger cities are your blue, is where your blue fools are. So we'd go to like the bigger cities, say Madison or Milwaukee, for a basketball game. And there's these tournaments where kids are playing. They're out there, sweating for an hour. The game got over. The father walked up to this little boy. The dad's wearing his mask. Mom's wearing her mask. Sister's wearing hers. And they put a mask on the kid right
Oh,
after he's done playing basketball for an hour with a bunch of other kids. And
yeah.
this is last year. This is after COVID passed.
That's crazy that people are still doing that. It really is, because it makes you so sick. All that bacteria and the mask on top of
Yeah.
everything. I just don't get it. Well, you remember Squirrely Merly
No.
from the chat? Well, he needs prayers. He's not doing so good. He's got some real bad health problems. That's why he hasn't been in the chat at all. But I just wanted to pass that out. He asked if I'd tell everybody where he was, because nobody knew where he was, and I was looking for him myself. But
There's a few people that we've kind of lost touch with over the last, well, couple of years for sure.
yeah, there's quite a few people that have dropped out, but I see them sometimes on different spots and everything online, but not in the chat anymore.
That's too bad.
Yeah, I know it is. I think it's a shame we're losing people like that, but I think all the social media isn't the same as it used to be. I think people are getting tired of it. If you know, I don't see as much activity on stuff as what I used to.
No, I know. Well, and a lot of it's so inaccurate. I am having trouble pulling up Rumble, so sorry guys, I cannot read the chat.
Okay, I can read the chat, but I was talking, so I wasn't looking at it. But it looks like, I think it must be Sean that's not feeling good. Yeah, Sean Lucas isn't feeling good now. So anybody else in there getting sick? If you are, don't come around us.
Take the weekend and enjoy yourself and relax, get better.
Yeah, it's going to be a long weekend. I forgot about that. So if you long weekend, just remember the judge isn't in till Tuesday if you want to do anything weird over the weekend.
Okay, Mike has sent a message. He's getting ready. He should be
Okay.
on any minute, but I'm going to go ahead and do what I was going to say because mine's really short. I didn't want to take any time away from Mike, and because we were tech difficulty this morning, I'm going to go ahead and just fill in what I'm going to be doing the next couple weeks, and it's definitely going to take a couple weeks because I have photographs, documents, film clips, and other things to show. So I've been working on this for almost 2 years now. It's been well over a year. And the thing that really got me in, because I batted myself back and forth. Do I want to do this? Do I want to stir up the controversy? Is anybody going to listen, or are they just going to shut it down because they're so hard-headed? And I decided, you know what? This guy's getting awful close to Trump. I do not like this guy getting that close to President Trump. And he lied directly to his face. I have video proof of it. And I'm going to put all that up in front of you guys. You're going to be the first ones to see it here. So I am jumping into the Sound of Freedom, Tim Ballard saga. And trust me, it is a saga. I've lost count of how many lawsuits he has against him right now. But I saw him at CPAC this year. It's starting the same thing. Apparently, there's a part 2 of Sound of Freedom. So they're going to start having to do the fundraising money give me money thing here pretty soon again. So just stay tuned for that. But everything I have, it's going to show you how the Sound of Freedom is a fabricated figment of Tim's mind, and how a lot of what happened, not only did it happen, but it was not just embellished, but fully fabricated. So I can't wait to start showing all of that. I'm just going to kind of prep everybody to put your big boy boots on and your big girl panties on, because even if it trips your trigger, I'm still going to say it because I think everybody needs to hear it. We aren't hearing it on the conservative news channels. We aren't hearing it on the conservative stations. In fact, they're promoting Tim Ballard again, by seeing him at CPAC, having him show up at Catholic chair priorities and things like this. So I'm going to get into the truth. It's all truth. I have all the facts. I have all the paperwork. And that's where I'm going to be going for the next couple of weeks. And I will be showing video proof. I have, like I said, documents and photographs that are going to prove everything I say. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is not a QAnon thing. This is actual facts. The Sound of Freedom is not a true story. In fact, the majority of it is totally fabricated. And I can't wait to share it because I think everybody needs to know. I think they took a lot of people for a ride. I think a lot of people did we got to get this 2 million, and they were buying tickets for other people that they never saw or would even know if they would get a ticket to get Sound of Freedom out. Regardless, Sound of Freedom was going to be released July 4th. Whether or not all these conservative places push 2 million tickets or not. So I feel like a lot of people got taken. I did not see Sound of Freedom. I saw Jim Caviezel on Steve Bannon on War Room. And that was the day that I first started looking into it. I thought, something's not right here. And boy, did I jump down a rabbit hole with that one. So, yep, that's what I'm going to be doing.
Yeah, so it's going to be good.
It is going to be good. So if you guys have any questions, maybe you could prep up now, because I'll do my best to answer. And I also have one of the investigative reporters that has been doing on this case, one of the many cases that is against Tim Ballard right now. And I've emailed him, and hopefully we can get him on as a guest at some point during this. So,
well, your buddy's here, so are you ready?
I'm ready. Go for it.
Okay, I'm putting him in. Okay, Michael, here you go.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mike. How are you?
I'm great. Good to see you, Debbie.
Good to see you too. We had a little bit of technical difficulties, and we're in different time zones, so I think that's maybe how we got a little messed up this morning.
Yeah, I'm an hour ahead of you.
Yeah, Trixie gets to sleep in while we have to get up early.
I discovered that, yes.
So, Mike, I've been bragging on you a little bit. I told him a little bit earlier. I'm not sure it all got on camera because I'm not sure if we were on. I was having my phone messing up, so I couldn't see if I was in the chat or not. So, you want to tell us a little bit about what you've been up to? I know you've been doing this stuff for quite a while, but now you're really got your boots to the ground.
Well, I have to thank Rush Limbaugh in the 90s for really opening my eyes, and probably my Christian faith too, because I became a Christian right around that same time in the early 90s. But I never really did more than put a sign in my yard until 2008. And I was very much against the presidency of Barack Obama. But all we had was McCain at the time. And so I put together a storyline. I guess I got tired of him running all over the place and telling the world it was a mistake, while our men and women were dying and blood was being spilled. I mean, there's a time for debate, but once Congress approved this war, from the minute that first boot hits the ground until that last boot leaves, we should be coming together to support them while they are there. Whether it was a mistake or not, you can do that without the halls of Congress. But you don't go to the media, not while our boys are dying, and talk about it as a mistake. So I put together this script, and I actually found a Marine that I live locally. And so we did this shoot, and that was in 2008. It was called Dear Mr. Obama. It had over 10 million views the first month, and it was hailed as the first ever GOP viral video. And the BBC rated it as the #1 political ad of the year.
Wow, I didn't know that.
So that kind of thrust me into the spotlight a little bit. And shortly after that, I connected with Jack Roser, who was, the best way to describe him is he's the granddaddy of the Tea Party. He was a Tea Party guy long before the Tea Party was even something. And he spent millions of dollars coming against the corruption in Illinois on both sides, Republican and Democrat, as well as going after the unions. The unions basically run Illinois. They run the politicians, they run the courts, they run the judges. They choose who's going to be the next governor. It was very corrupt. So I had a chance to work with an extraordinary man. He was my mentor. He was my surrogate dad. Besides just being my client, he was my friend too. So that was from 2008 till 2014. He died at the age of 92. And then after that, I still did some political stuff, but I realized that Illinois was pretty much lost, and I tried to stay focused on the national scene. And then we had the Trump phenomenon. And I remember joking early that I would vote for him, but then I'd want to build a bomb shelter. It was a joke.
Yeah. I think people are talking about bomb shelters more and more these days.
And here he turned out to be one president that really brought peace throughout the world. I mean, it was quite astounding. And then to see the attacks and then to find out all these lies. The Russian collusion thing lasted throughout his entire presidency. I have never in my life seen any president so vilified by the media, attacked from within, in that, and at the same time, in those 4 years, what he accomplished was tremendous. Within 2 years of his presidency, we were the #1 producer of oil in the world. He brought his business mind. He brought money in. He opened up coal mining again. I mean, he got America back to work. He did a tremendous job. Best president in my lifetime.
Mine too. Well, we're
Mine
the
too.
same age, so
Yeah.
I think everybody that's alive right now, unless they're an idiot, has got to say this. We live through the greatest president of our lifetime, of our country.
The
I
GOAT.
can't think of anybody that can bring us out of where we are right now.
And then to end those last 4 years with the Abraham Accords, he brought more peace and more stability to the Middle East. And a lot of those Abraham Accords that were signed are still functioning, are still in operation today. And it bred prosperity for the Middle East. So I think he was, and I'm certainly excited to see him now. I'm very concerned, and I'm keeping him in prayer because, I talked to everybody about this assassination, and everybody will agree that there was a lot of sloppiness, that it was poorly done. My question is not whether it was poorly executed, but whether it was willful and intentional incompetence. And I'm
When you were just at, what was the rally you were just at? Was that a Save America rally?
Save the American Dream Rally.
Save the American Dream Rally. And that's where you interviewed Mike Lindell.
That's where I interviewed Mike Lindell. I interviewed Jaco Boyens, which is an amazing man. What he's been doing over the years, and pretty much by himself because he's got no support until Trump. Trump was the first one to come on board and say, yes, we have to stop this human trafficking. And my biggest rallying point for this has been we have more slavery in the world today than we have ever had in the history of this world. That's astounding. That shook me to the core. I couldn't believe that was true. But, the CIA was involved in Vietnam and transporting stuff that they shouldn't have transported. They were involved in JFK's killing. They played a big role in getting Nixon out of office. A lot of people don't realize that.
Oh yeah.
Most
of the people that are in this chat are pretty smart, and they're up on that kind of stuff, which is real good.
Yeah.
We're all like-minded in here.
Yeah.
And everything I'm hearing,
except for my next subject coming up next week, we're bumping some heads in the chat. So.
Oh, that's interesting. There's nothing wrong with that. That's good, healthy debate.
It is, Mike. I think you weren't quite on ready yet, but I'm going to be bringing up the Tim Ballard Sound of Freedom saga. This has been going on for quite some time, and for some reason, the conservative people are not getting the truth. It is coming from, other people, which have dropped the movie and everything else, it's pretty much come out. But for some reason, it's not reaching the conservative side. So I don't know how much you know about, but I know a lot. I've been looking at this for almost 2 years.
It's pretty evidentiary that there are some big people involved in child trafficking want to continue on.
Well, they even got to go on these couples ruse, the missions. If they paid a certain amount of money, if they donated a certain amount of money, they could go on one of these missions to rescue children that were never rescued.
Oh, I saw Sound of Freedom. I would have gone just to.
Yeah, they didn't need to say it was a true story because it's not.
I'm disappointed because I bought it.
Yeah, that's
you and a lot of other people.
That's
I
it.
didn't buy it. I don't have an opinion one way or another because I haven't looked at anything. But I bought the movie.
Well, the movie's good. The movie gets a point across, and brings awareness to child trafficking. But if you're going to do something like that, and that at least come out and say this is based on a true story, or this is just a fabricated. It's like the movie Taken. But what it is a combination of Rambo and Taken, and then a combination of his first movie that bombed called The Abolitionist. So this goes really deep. It's more than just these sexual allegations that are up against him. There's men that have filed charges as well. So this is not just a little bitty thing that's going to go away. It's not going away. There's some big names involved.
Any time, especially that particular subject, you're going to get people wanting to shut you down. Even trying to get the film out was very difficult. And if you've not crossed your T's and dotted all your I's and been authentic and genuine, it's going to come back to bite you. Guaranteed.
Oh, right.
Guaranteed. That's why Jaco Boyens is the real guy. He went to Bush, he went to Obama, trying to get support from the government for his mission to rescue those that are enslaved, whether it's the sex trafficking or human trafficking. It all falls under the same umbrella. He's had such extreme resistance. He recently even said in an interview I did with him that he's fighting the Senate, he's fighting the House, he's fighting the establishment because they're all against him. And so I certainly see the CIA having their foot in that. I think Epstein was working for the CIA.
Yeah, I heard that too.
So they've got their hands in all this stuff, and they've been doing it for decades.
Well, and the fact that, Tim Ballard wasn't even actually an operative or undercover. He actually was more like worked in the office and made coffee and answered phones. But once he quit there, actually, the CIA, he took a polygraph test and failed it. That's why he was fired.
Yeah.
So, and then his story goes on and on. But now this goes way back. The movie was ready in like 2019. So I'm gonna be quiet about it now because I just kind of want to give everybody a taste and prepare themselves for what's coming up. But I don't want to take time away from you, Mike. That's
well, and that's the threat that Trump is, because they're trying to throw everything at him and it's just falling off him, because he is as authentic and genuine as he's needed to be. And they just recently came up with some new charges, but I'm more concerned about his welfare and his safety.
I don't think we're done with Trump. That's for sure.
You want to hear a weird theory? And I'm not the only one that has this one. All right. This is about Trump. Remember back in the 80s and when he was doing construction work in New York and everything? I think, this is my own opinion because he knows everybody. I think he was an asset for the FBI back then, and they put him in. He's in construction. Who better to bring out the mob? He knows who's doing what. All right. So then he goes into Atlantic City, does his casino stuff over there. He can rope in everybody from Jersey and stuff over there too. Then file bankruptcy on that casino, get out of there. And my personal opinion is I think that he was an FBI asset for a long time. And that's why everybody turned on him so bad, is because they know he knows. And who in the world could go through the scrutiny he did and not have one single thing come up? They had to have scrubbed his history and all that kind of stuff. After all that FBI stuff was done, then he goes to run for president. And that's when all hell breaks loose, because they know they cleaned up his files. There's not going to be anything they can get on him. And I've thought this since the 90s, that he was an FBI asset and was put, because who better to know on construction, the salvage business, all that kind of stuff. And he would fit right into all those parties and nobody would question a thing. That's just a theory that I got.
That's interesting theory. I've never heard anything like that.
Mike, if you stick around long enough, you'll hear a lot of things.
Well, it's like Michael Flynn. They immediately moved to remove Michael Flynn because Michael Flynn knew where all the dead bodies were. And he could have, in that position, he could have really completely gutted the CIA and the FBI and the DOJ. I mean, he would have been over all of that. Mm-hmm. That's why they went after him so fast. I mean, within days. And, we ended up having to step away from that position. And you saw what they did to him. It was
brutal.
Absolutely brutal. One of the worst treatments of character assassination that I've ever seen. And that's because he was a genuine threat. In Bush's case, because they can't control him, because they don't have anything on him, because he won't do their bidding, that makes him a big threat, especially being able to go in as president and look at all the secrets and all the things that have been covered up for so long.
Yeah, remember, like at Bush's funeral when everybody had those cards that fell out. Remember, that's why I swear I think Trump was an asset. Either maybe CIA, maybe FBI, I don't know, but there's no way anybody could pass the scrutiny he did to have a clean background like that. Because what did they get him on? Stormy Daniels and bullshit. Yeah. They didn't get him on anything.
Yeah,
know,
well,
if
that's
they went through my taxes 10 years ago, I might have gotten arrested for something, you know, and how could he go that much? And they can't find anything. They had to have scrubbed his background after he was done. That's the only thing I can think of.
See, I don't know if they would need to. I mean, I look at his life. This guy's never had a drink. He's never had a smoke. I mean, he's been squeaky clean from the beginning, and I think that came from his parents. And his children are remarkable human beings. They're amazing. So I think, you know, as one of the things in life that I've learned is the only real legacy we leave behind is what we've planted in the hearts of those around us. And that's the legacy that we pass on to our children and to our grandchildren. And I
Yes, and congratulations, Mike is a new grandpa, by the way.
yes, number 4. And so I see his kids being very squeaky clean, not violating the law. And I see Trump being squeaky clean from the beginning. He was going to do things right. He was going to work with the system. And he did where he admits he worked with the system. They said, why didn't you pay so much in taxes?
Yeah.
Because I knew the system. Same system their donors use.
The people he was hanging with, though, I mean, you know, he knew Epstein, but he didn't hang around with him per se. Because right as soon as he found out what was going on, he threw Epstein right out of the golf club and all that kind of stuff, and wouldn't let him come back. And Trump was the only one that helped some of those girls too that were trafficked. He was the one that came forward before everything even went to court and said that he would come in and testify for those girls and everything. But they never had him do it. But I remember that too. I don't know. It just seems so funny. I can't imagine somebody having that clean of a background. I know what you're saying, but to me, I can even think just me. I'm a nobody. They could go through my taxes and find probably something every single year if they wanted to. And that's what amazes me, that they can't come up with anything that really
Well, that's why they hired all the armed IRS states, agents, is to come after us people that don't really do anything wrong. But by God, we sold something on Marketplace for $50 and it added up to maybe $500 worth of stuff over the year. Well, they got to get their grubby mitts on it.
Well, the CIA will reach out to anyone that they think they can use or exploit, especially powerful people.
Yeah.
Trump has been a powerful person for a long time. And when you've got the government coming to you needing your assistance, you want to raise your hand and say, "Yeah, if I can help, sure." So there might be some truth to that, but I don't think they scrubbed his record. I think he had a pretty squeaky clean record from the beginning. I'd love to see Obama's record. Nobody will show that. He's out of office. He's been gone for years, and all that stuff's been hidden from us.
Well, Larry Sinclair will tell you.
Oh, sure,
But
Larry.
look how many people absolutely positively loved Trump. Oprah,
They all liked him.
All the big celebrities just loved him.
Oh, yeah, they put their arms around him. Jesse Jackson put his arms around President Trump up until he walked down that escalator as a Republican.
Oh, wasn't that that was a great night. I was so happy when he came down the escalator that night. I like him. I've always liked him.
That's almost how I feel after watching every rally. There's that flicker of hope that's just saying, we're not done yet. Don't give up. Don't give up.
Joe Rogan loves Trump. Joe Rogan sees Trump as a stand-up comedian that's just spot on. I mean, he just takes it off the cuff and throws it out there. And Trump can be very, very funny.
I think he's hilarious. Yeah, he is. He's got a good sense of humor. I like it. I like it when he gets mouthy.
He's got a mind like a shark tack.
Get rid of the teleprompter because he doesn't need it. He does well enough this ad-libbing.
And that's one of the things I recently interviewed Mike Lindell and at the Save the American Dream rally. And he is just as authentic and genuine and real And that's why his commercials did so well, because people could see that authenticity, they could see that genuine nature. And I think very highly of a lot of Charlie Kirk. I produced Charlie Kirk's first television show. It was called The Quad.
Oh,
Really?
That was back in, I think, 2012, 2013.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
We had him and some of his core group come on and just talk about the issues. It was good practice for Charlie. And
Charlie's quite the name for himself now, that's for sure.
see him today, he's probably one of the most educated men I know. Never went to college. One of the most educated men that I know when it comes to world history, when it comes to socialism and communism and what those things did. But he's also, his Christian faith has just exploded. And now he's combined the Christian worldview with everything else that he's learned. And he's, I wouldn't want to sit opposing him on the opposite side. That's for sure.
Well, I think everybody here has probably seen Charlie do the table at the college campuses where they line up. It's like, you got a question, you're against everything I say, bring it. Let's debate. Let's talk.
I've been tempted.
A fool out of every single one of them.
I've been tempted to use a Pink Floyd song, Another Brick in the Wall. And anytime there's music sections, go to a clip of Charlie having these open debates on these college campuses, as well as some other things, because truthfully, I think our education system is the culprit behind a good portion of this.
Absolutely. Oh, my God.
BLM, transgender, gay marriage, all of this stuff, all of it, it's come from the universities.
Yep.
They're not teaching our
and they're pushing it in the grade schools now, too.
Well,
I've noticed that more and more going to the different schools, for my grandson's basketball, for Braylon's basketball, we'll go to the bigger cities, and they've got a bathroom with 3 different figures on it. A man, a woman, a half and half, a wheelchair. It's like, what on earth? And everything is rainbow. It's like, this is insane.
They're indoctrinating the college students that will go back and be teachers. And the teachers is bringing this ideology into the grade schools, the middle schools. Second grade, there's, even in my community, and second graders are being told, if your parents spank you, that's against the law.
Yeah. Hey, Mike, we only got a couple minutes left. Do you want to give us your credentials on where people can find you? And I know you've got some stuff on YouTube. Do you want to let everybody know where they can find everything that they can look you up, see your work?
Well, I've owned and operated a video production company for about 25 years. So, in 2008, Dear Mr. Obama, is when I originally opened up my YouTube account. So that was the first one I put up. And then I had like 4,000 subscribers in a very short period of time. So I put up Dear Mr. Obama, Economics 101. Dear Mr. Obama, who are you? And I showed how he flip-flopped on so many issues. That's on YouTube. Just my name, Michael Brown. Hopefully you'll be able to find it. I'm semi-retired now, but I still like to do projects that I'm interested in. They're always conservative projects like Save the American Dream, and I love the opportunity to be able to talk to Yaku Boyens and Mike Lindell and Charlie Kirk, and I was hoping to be able to meet General Fulton because he was supposed to be one of the speakers, but he couldn't make it.
Well, maybe you'll still have time to do that this year.
I would love to meet that man. Boy, the stories he could tell.
Mike, it's been great to have you on. I think there's a lot more I could have brought up and talked to you about. Since our tech difficulties this morning, it's kind of cutting us a few minutes short.
You and we could talk for hours, and
I know. We did talk enough at the pool party the other day.
That was fun. It was so great seeing you.
That was fun. Yes. Just in case you missed it, Michael is my cousin. his dad and my mom were cousins. So he was a perfect guest to get on. I know everything he's got going is a lot. So I thought he'd be the perfect guest this morning. So Mike, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, I appreciate what you guys are doing. It's a matter of just getting out the truth. People need to hear the truth because they're not going to get it from the media. Oh my goodness, how they've doubled down on Chameleon Kamala. That's my name for it.
Oh, I'm sure I'll take a lot of heat the next couple of weeks while I'm spreading truth, but you know what? I don't care. It needs to be said.
Trump needs our help. America needs our help. So we all need to jump on board and do something. You know what I mean?
Amen to that, brother.
I appreciate you.
All right.
Thanks,
I'm going to
everybody
click
in the
out
chat.
again, Mike.
Have a good weekend.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to click Mike off and then we can wrap up, okay?
Okay.
Yeah. Nice to meet you, Mike.
Nice meeting
Thank you for coming on.
Oh, sure. This was fun.
Yeah, we'll do it again.
Okay.
Oh,
Whoa. I guess your dog wants to say goodbye
I'm going to
too,
mute.
huh?
Let me mute.
All right. Well, I guess we're going to wrap it up, and we got the long weekend. I don't know what's going on Monday. Probably nothing. I'm not doing anything. I don't know what you guys are doing. Are you still on mute, Deb? Yep, she's still on mute.
Yeah, I put it on mute because the dog's It's probably falling branches from the storm last night.
All right. Well, it's 10. You guys usually cut off and go to different things and everything. So we're going to say goodbye and have a really good weekend.
Yes, and I will be sharing some things on locals on my Live Simple page and also on Getter about the Tim Ballard. So if you get antsy and can't wait till next Friday, go ahead and check some of those out. I'll be posting those later today. Sorry if you don't like the truth, but by God, you're going to hear it.
Have a good weekend. Happy Labor Day. Bye.
Bye.